Welcome back to U.S. and World Politics Decoded. Today, we're diving into an escalating cross-border dispute between the United States and Mexico, a water conflict that has reached the presidential level. President Donald Trump is threatening Mexico with tariffs and sanctions over what he calls stolen water. But this isn't just about politics. It's about rivers, droughts, and a decades-old treaty you may never have heard of. Let's decode what's really going on. On April 10, 2025, Donald Trump made headlines again. In a post on his platform Truth Social, Trump accused Mexico of failing to deliver over 1.3 million acre-feet of water, or more than 420 billion gallons, that he claims Texas is owed. His words were direct. "Mexico has been stealing the water from Texas farmers," he wrote. "We will keep escalating consequences, including tariffs and maybe even sanctions, until Mexico honors the treaty and gives Texas the water they are owed." It wasn't just political rhetoric. Trump signaled concrete trade actions, escalating tension with one of America's largest trade partners, a country already battling internal water shortages due to a severe years-long drought. Mexico, under the leadership of President Claudia Sheinbaum, responded quickly and carefully. In a statement, she acknowledged the shortfall but blamed a historic drought affecting northern Mexico. She explained that her administration had submitted a comprehensive proposal to the U.S. government, aiming to resolve the issue through cooperation and diplomacy. Sheinbaum emphasized, "To the extent of water availability, Mexico has been complying." And in a surprising turn, Trump praised Sheinbaum as a terrific person and fantastic woman, despite the tension. Still, the water debt remains. According to data from the International Boundary and Water Commission, Mexico has delivered only around 400,000 acre-feet between October 2020 and October 2024, less than one-third of the required amount. To truly understand this issue, we need to go back, way back, to the year 1944. The Treaty of Utilization of Waters of the Colorado and Tijuana Rivers and of the Rio Grande, signed on February 3, 1944, established how Mexico and the United States share water from several cross-border rivers. Here's a breakdown of the main points. The U.S. must deliver 1,150 million cubic meters of water annually to Mexico from the Colorado River. Mexico must deliver 2,158 million cubic meters of water to the U.S. from the Rio Conchos, a tributary of the Rio Grande, but not annually. Instead, it must be done over a 5-year cycle. The treaty divides and regulates water from the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo, the Colorado River, and the Tijuana River, rivers essential for agriculture and population centers on both sides of the border. But here's the catch. The treaty did not account for future population growth, droughts, or climate change. And now, nearly 80 years later, those factors are making compliance much harder, especially for Mexico. Also important, the treaty allows for flexibility. Any deficit in one cycle can be compensated in the next, as long as 2 consecutive cycles are not missed. That's a key detail in Mexico's defense. Water is not just a natural resource, it's power. It fuels agriculture, industry, and urban centers. In Texas, farmers depend heavily on water from the Rio Grande to irrigate crops. When flows decrease, so does their productivity. The Mexican side is struggling too. The La Boquilla Dam in Chihuahua, one of the key reservoirs, has reached historically low levels due to the drought. Back in 2020, the tension exploded when Mexican farmers seized the dam, trying to prevent water from flowing to the U.S. Droughts. Rising temperatures and shrinking snowpacks are creating record-low river flows, and neither country is immune. Climate change is accelerating a water crisis that's pushing old agreements to the limit. Meanwhile, Trump is framing this issue as part of a broader America First narrative, using water as a wedge issue in his latest confrontations with Mexico. Trump's renewed pressure on Mexico fits into a familiar political strategy: tough on trade, strong on borders, and aggressive on perceived slights. But this time, it's not about immigration or drugs. It's about hydropolitics. By threatening tariffs and sanctions, Trump is signaling to his base, especially farmers and ranchers in Texas, that he's fighting for their interests. However, the consequences of escalation could be severe. Mexico is a top trading partner for the United States, and trade wars, especially over natural resources, rarely end cleanly. Diplomatic voices are calling for calm. Experts warn that revising or breaking the 1944 treaty could trigger a cascade of new legal battles, international tensions, and perhaps even retaliatory actions on Mexico's part. President Sheinbaum remains committed to negotiation, not confrontation. Her recent proposal to the U.S. includes alternatives and measures to fulfill the treaty, perhaps over an extended timeline. But with the next delivery cycle ending in October 2025, the clock is ticking. If Mexico fails to catch up, the treaty allows only one missed cycle. A second consecutive shortfall would violate the agreement, and that's when things could get legally explosive. Meanwhile, Trump's threats have already created a ripple effect in markets and media. The situation may become a centerpiece issue in upcoming U.S. political debates, especially in border states and farm regions. The U.S.-Mexico water dispute reminds us that even decades-old treaties can spark modern crises, especially when droughts, politics, and power collide. How should two neighboring nations balance international commitments with national survival? And who really owns the water that crosses borders? For now, all eyes are on October 2025, and whether the next drop of water will come through diplomacy or pressure. Thanks for watching U.S. and World Politics Decoded. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll keep you updated on every development.